Live, live, live. Uh-oh, an error. Boom, we are live. All right, you can get it off my page, Wally, and share it on your page if you want to. But other than that, we are good to go. We are good to go. Now let me share it on my page. Hey, you gonna be? I'm gonna go. I'm about to go on live. You want to get on? On Facebook and everything. Oh well, now you keep working then. All right. Why I keep attracting the wrong people? Um, so I got. We're about to get on now. Actually, they hear me talking to you live right now. All right. Well, I'll call you. I'll call you afterwards. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Welcome, 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 everybody. Welcome, welcome. I am the doctor, Coach Ken, aka Coach Ken, but you can call me the doctor. I always say I am not the doctor because I have a PhD or an MD. I am the doctor because people come to me when they are in pain and I give them the prescription to get out of pain. Welcome. You can be anywhere in the land. But you are here with me tonight. We got a good show tonight, real good. But before we get into the show, I need everybody to tell me, give me your name, write your name in the comment section, and tell me where you're calling in from because I need to know. So I want to acknowledge you. Give me that opportunity, please. All right. And I dropped the link in the comment section, both on all of my pages. So if you want to get on tonight, ask a question. I've got a guest, a special guest tonight, but we're going to talk about some real stuff. Talk about some real shit, y'all. No joke. All right. So if you want to get on, let me know where you're calling in from so that I can welcome you and I can do what it is I do. All right. All right. So I got to put this link on too so that I can get everybody. I want to make sure. Oh, boom. Here it is. Okay. 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 All right. Boom. All right. The link is everywhere. So if you want to obviously join me on the conversation, you can. So let me make sure. All right. I'm switching everything over, y'all. I'm kind of doing some other stuff. All right. All right. All right. Now, good. All right. Bam. All right. Here we go. Okay, okay, okay. Let's see where we got people from. Ooh, y'all, I just go away for a minute. All right, we got Alfreda here. We got Brenda from the DMV area. What's up, Pam? Hey, Pam. I don't know where you stay now, but good to see you, Pam. We got Roxy from New York City and from Indiana in the building. We've got Shantae from Cincinnati, Ohio. All right, Dawn from NC, Beatrice from New Jersey. Oh, Debbie. I'm sorry. It's Debbie from New Jersey. We've got Rita from Virginia. All right, we've got Soul Sister from Las Vegas, Nevada, in the building tonight. We've got Jackie from Brooklyn, New York. Shannon from Austin, Texas. Jamie from Nashville, Tennessee. I'm from Nashville. Shanika, what's up from the G Borough? All right, we got Joe from Arizona, Pearl from Buffalo, Allie from Charlotte. Yes. Oh, Pam, I figured you were still in Durham. We've got, Caroline from Norway in the building. Norway. The doctor is international now. We got Lauren from Macon, Georgia. We've got Lauren from DMV. We've got Lauren from DMV. All right, and Darlene from Tallahassee. Listen, welcome everybody to the show tonight. We're going to get busy. Tonight's topic is, tonight we got Darlene from Tallahassee. Tonight's topic is why you keep attracting the either wrong person in relationships or the same person in relationships. And the question is, I get this question all the time. People ask me, Coach, why do I keep attracting the same person? Is it something wrong with me? I'm gonna answer that question tonight. And what it is, and so people want to be in a relationship. And have you ever known somebody, or maybe it's you, and you keep attracting the same kinds of guys? You know, you say, well, like I'm dating guys, I'm dating a guy, and they're controlling, or they're not, have narcissistic tendencies, or I date a guy who is unemotionally available, or the guy who says I date the female that I want to fix her, I want to make her better, I feel like I am Superman and I can get it done. Well, tonight I'm gonna give you the 7 reasons why. And I've got my guy that's coming up in a minute. He's my guy. We were on The Biggest Loser together. He's a super smart guy. I never forget when we met. Both of us have strong personalities, but we clicked right away because we saw the world very similar. We had both had eating issues, which landed us on a show on NBC. But we have been friends ever since. And he's going to be coming up. His name is Wally Bressler, and I mean, super smart guy, super opinionated. I love him, but he's the kind of guy, much like myself. Either you like him or you don't, and I think I like it that way. All right, y'all. But we're gonna get started here in a second. I want anybody who has the same issues. We've got roughly 200 people on the line right now. But if you're anybody that has roughly the same issue, they keep attracting the same type of people. We're going to find out tonight why. So let's jump right in and get started. Because people tell me sometimes I talk too much. I don't care. I do. Anyway. So before I bring Wally on, I wanted to do, and these are in no particular order. So I want to start off with the 7 things, and you might feel that you're in one of these 7 categories, but I want to get started. All right, number 1, like I said, they're in no particular order, is you have insecurities, all right, or self-worth issues that you have not healed, that you have not dealt with. The first reason is you keep attracting the same guy because there is something inside of you. There is a part of you that has a need for this kind of individual. So let me explain this to you. And so a lot of times we attract people who have the thing that we're missing, and we feel like they can give it to us. So if I have self-worth issues, I am attracted to people who have a hearty self-esteem. And what happens is you're longing for it, you're needing it. That's a part of you that wants it. So what happens, you see it in someone else, and your unconscious programming says, I gravitate to that because it's something that I don't have, but it's something that I desire. And so then, because they have something that you desire so desperately, meaning maybe they have a healthy dose of self-esteem, maybe this person, I feel like they can validate me, they can give me the self-worth that I lack. And so you find yourself gravitating toward these type of individuals, and you absolutely wonder why. You wonder why I keep attracting this kind of person, but it's something in you. There is an insecurity in you. And listen, y'all, we are not about tonight. It is not about right or wrong. It is not, it's just acknowledging who we are, where we are, and why we are. All right, does that make sense? So I'll be honest with you. I used to be the type of person, and you're going to get that in a second, where I'm gravitating towards certain people, and I couldn't understand why. And it was really a part of me that I felt that I was lacking and that I could get from these other people. Now, if you have security issues, self esteem issues, and it may not be your fault. It may be something that you carry with you from childhood trauma. It may be something you carried with you because your mom, your father never validated you. The truth is, I was on a call today, I was on an interview today, and I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I'm gonna tell you something that's powerful. And a lot of you, whether you believe, I don't know what your spiritual beliefs are, but I'm going to tell you something. I'm a Christian and I believe, and I was reading the Bible talking, it was talking about Jacob and Esau, about the birthright that they wanted, that Jacob wanted so desperately. And the truth is, the birthright is nothing more than the validation of blessing that the father bestows onto the son or the daughter. Okay, and all of us as children, we want this validation. But see, here's the problem. There are two ways. The problem is if our parents, our fathers, or our mothers could not validate us because they were never validated. So they didn't know how to validate you. And then you go through life without this validation. You go through life searching, seeking, wanting, yearning for this validation to say, my existence matters. And you want that blessing. You want that validation, but you haven't gotten it. But so here's the thing what God did. What I believe God did is say, okay, if you didn't get it from your parents, then I'm going to make a way that I'm going to say that your father in heaven, and I'm going to say that, you know what, you're beautifully and wonderfully made. I validate you. But here's the difference on that part. Then you got to accept it, that it came from him and not your parents, your father in heaven, and you can validate thyself. He's given you the power to do that. And that's why in my coaching, I teach people, let me show you how to validate thyself. And when you get to a point that you believe it, that you accept that you can, your life will change. And so we keep looking outside ourselves for something that's already on the inside of us. So the first reason you keep attracting the same people is there is a part of you, be it insecure, there's a part of you, be it low self-worth, low self-esteem, there's a part of you that's yearning for something, and you keep dating people you feel are going to give it to you. They're going to give it to you, but they can't give it to you. It's an internal job. That's number one. So I just wanted to say that part. Before I brought Wally on, I wanted to say that part because I was talking to someone today that I've helped. And this particular person said, Ken, before I met you, before I did not realize that I could validate myself, that I could provide, I could bestow blessings on myself. And everything that I'm receiving, everything that I am receiving right now in my life is because of the blessing I bestowed upon myself. I validated myself. Y'all, that's powerful. Woo! I'm just getting started, y'all. All right, man. Listen, I got 6 more, but before I get to the 6 more, I want to bring my guy on. Listen, my guy Wally is he's a real estate guru. He's a sales guru. He's a personal development guru. But more than that, he is my friend. I want y'all to welcome my friend Wally Bressler. Big Wally!
What's up, man? Good to see
What's
you.
Up,
you are, as usual, on fire tonight. On fire.
Hey, man.
So basically, I'm one of the. I think you described me as one of those indus people. I'm either horrendous or tremendous. One of those two, right? Indus, you're either horrendous or tremendous, right?
Yeah, dude. But no, you are tremendous. In your horrendous ways. I'll say that.
Okay. You know what? There's a compliment there somewhere, and I'll be looking for.
No, man, I love you, brother. But listen, I brought you on the show. You know why we've talked about this. And I want you to tell the group, I want you to tell the people listening, we've got over 200 people on the line, what you told me about, how you've been successful in your life and how there's one area in your life that you have had, you come up short from, in your own words.
Yeah, and thank you very much for having me here today. And it's so nice to see everybody, or at least see all the names. You've got an amazing following, and I know the reason is because you deliver at such a high level, and you really do care about people and love them. So anybody who's watching this, you have definitely found the right guy to align yourself with, for sure, no question about it. I love this guy myself. So I coach people. I have a company called Phone Sales Secrets, and I help people overcome sales reluctance, perfectionism, need for acceptance, need for approval. So I'm pretty familiar with that. And I draw on my own experiences and things I've gone through in my life. I had a pretty tough childhood, and made a lot of bad choices in my lifetime. And I spent most of my life, running from the pain and exactly what Ken talked about, looking for approval. That need for approval, that need for acceptance is so strong within us. And, when we're younger, there's two places we go for approval, either home or school, because that's where we spend most of our time. So if you're at home and your parents don't pay attention to you, you're going to have absentee father, one of your parents is an alcoholic, they're both alcoholics, you get the crap beat out of you. If you're at school and you get bullied, there's no place to get that approval, and nobody teaches us how to get our own approval, like Ken talked about. But, really, there's only one person that needs to approve us, and that's us, right? Everybody here is good enough as they are, where they stand, with nothing to change. And so, but so for me, I had basically a binge eating disorder starting at the age of 6. One of the punishments my parents used to give me was to not send me to bed without dinner when I was like 3, 4, 5 years old. Had very, very big issues around food, hated being hungry. I was sexually abused when I was 10. I started looking at pornography when I was 11. I started having sex when I was 12. I was bullied mercilessly. So like by the time I was 13, I hated myself, and I did not like who I was, and was always looking for approval. And so, I spent the majority, actually, and probably 40 years of my life at that point, roughly, looking for approval. And when a woman would come to me and find me attractive and have sex with me, I would consider that approval. But what happened was I started becoming a fixer, and I started attracting women who I could help, because that's what I did every day. I'm a coach, right? So I'm good at this. And so I spent my entire life finding women and trying to fix them. What I'm saying? So it's funny, because it is an interesting point. We can't be our own coaches. We can't be our own therapists. We can't solve our own problems in that respect. We need somebody else to give us external input. We need to have somebody come and say, hey, think about this or think about that. And so while I was helping, tons of people build great businesses and great relationships and all that stuff, I couldn't do it for myself. And so, but I did realize that I needed some help in that area. So, as Ken said earlier, this is not a good or bad thing, right? This is not a right or wrong thing. It's just an is thing. But awareness is your friend here. And hopefully Ken and I can create some awareness. I'm going to give you a little tip, a little trick to help you find out exactly why you're picking the wrong person after we hang up, before we hang up or done tonight, that you can use. And really that will be the catalyst to help you find out what it is that is in your life, what happened whenever you were younger, between the age of like being born in 12, 13, that sparked this, I don't know, whatever you would call it, this lifetime issue, or for lack of a better word, with picking the wrong friends, picking the wrong mate, and things like that, and then really help you get clear on that. So from there, you can go ahead and go about getting it resolved, so eventually you can end up with the right person.
Well, you can jump right in and what we're doing. So I want to get to number 2. It's funny you say that. Number 2 of why people keep picking, attracting the wrong person is they have what we call the Superman or Superwoman complex. That's what you have.
Yeah.
And that's the person who feels like, you know what? I can fix this person. I can mold this person into the person that I desire them to be. And many of us have that whole thought process of I can mold them. Obviously, that was one of your issues in terms of the Superman complex. Tell me about it.
It's interesting, because what I've found is people who, and listen, you don't have to have a really crappy childhood like I did. You know what I'm saying? It could be a singular instance of something. Let me give you an example. I have a client here in Dallas, and she was a huge perfectionist. And she went to gym class when she was in 5th grade. She wore dress shoes to gym class because she thought it looked nice. And the kids made fun of her ridiculously for the rest of the year. And that created in her the desire to be a perfectionist, or the need to be a perfectionist, so that she felt like whenever she was leaving the house that nobody could find anything wrong with her. The problem is there's no such thing as perfect. So it's literally a strategy for failure, right? So I want you to realize, and there's no comparison, because comparison here is literally the, what they say, the comparison is the thief of joy. It's, it's the, so the whole point is whether you had one singular instance or, you had a rough relationship with your parents, it doesn't matter. If something happened, it happened, and it's had a huge impact on you. But what I've found is people who go through challenging childhoods and have trouble when they're younger, one of the ways they feel better about themselves is by helping other people. Does that make sense? Like, we don't want to work on our own stuff. We don't want to work on our own stuff because it's so painful. We don't want to look at it. We don't want to deal with it because every time we think about it, it's a truckload of pain. So what's another way that I can feel good? I can go help somebody else. I can go do something for them, But what happens is we get into this habit of always helping other people. Two things happen. We do end up other people. We almost get addicted to helping them because we feel good when we do it. But the other thing is all of our stuff gets left unchecked. And so, the compound effect of leaving things unchecked and untaken care of makes things worse for us, right? So it makes it even harder for us to adjust to finding and being healthy and finding a good mate. And then we always find ourselves, and for me, it's the same thing. You attract, and here's the thing: the person could be taller, shorter, fatter, skinnier, richer, poorer, blonde hair, brown hair, whatever, dark skin, light skin. It's the same person. They just look differently. And speaking, I'm a Christian too. I believe God continues to send us the same person until we learn the lesson. So that person is going to keep showing up until we learn not to have them in our life anymore. So, as you're listening to us tonight, think about the patterns. I'm saying, and are you the kind of person who, you feel like you're a fixer? You see somebody, you have a natural care for people, but you spend a good portion of your life helping other people in an effort to feel good about yourself, but then leaving your own issues unchecked. And I promise you, the compound effect of leaving things unresolved, for me, it was like 45 years, is it's horrible. You know what I'm saying? And so the good news is you can definitely overcome it. But that's really my belief based upon my experience in working with people, why we get into this fixer mode. We want to help people, and it comes from a good place, but it's ultimately very detrimental to us.
Yeah, and I want everybody to hear what he said. He said something key. He said, because my childhood was so painful, I didn't want to look at my own stuff, and I could get joy in helping people overcome their stuff. Right. That is super profound, because a lot of people who are in dating relationships, romantic relationships, that's the exact same thing. They've had bad experiences in their romantic relationships. So they meet someone and they say, well, look, I'm going to pour my life into this particular person. And then I'm going to feel good. I'm going to get emotional satisfaction from making them good rather than making me good. And that's a powerful damn thing, man.
The problem with it, though, is that it's usually connection and not love. I'm saying it's connection, like you feel connected to the person because you're doing this emotionally, but it's not love. And the other challenge is usually if you're finding somebody that you're feeling the need to help, they're never going to be able to give you back what you want and need in a real relationship. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to be able to provide you with that emotional support, that ability to connect with you on multiple levels, to meet your love languages, to, do the things that make you happy, because they're just not there. Really, seriously, if you're in a relationship where you continually have to be there for that, not be there for that person, but if you're there to solve their problems, then they're not solving their own problems. And so as a result of it, that is literally a recipe for disaster. And I can give you about 8 different stories, maybe 9, maybe 10, you know what I'm saying? So, because
they're out there.
So yeah. No, I'm talking about myself, bro. I'm not even talking about anybody else.
No, I know. Number 3, Wally. Yeah. Number 3, why would people keep picking the wrong person or the same person, is they deflect instead of reflect. They deflect because a lot of times it's everybody else's fault. You keep thinking it's everybody else's fault. It's not my, and they're not willing to use self-reflection. That was the one thing that I began to do in every area of my life. And I realized that a lot of areas of my life was just, at one point or another, it was like, listen, face it. There were some areas that were just fucked up. Let me just be honest. And I often say, Dr. Phil said this: you cannot change what you don't acknowledge. And a lot of people that I coach, it's always the other person's fault. It's always their fault. It's always what they did. And I often tell them, I say, well, look, do you ever reflect? I get it. Maybe you weren't responsible for all the pain, but do you ever? Everybody has responsibility to take care. Now, maybe you didn't cheat, but take responsibility. You accept it. You started dating the person. You decided, you made a decision, a choice to get in a relationship with them. And so, what I tell people is stop deflecting and let's begin reflecting on our life.
So, there's a great video by Will Smith. It's about 2.5 minutes long. It's from a couple of years ago. I think he recorded during COVID, but it's called Fault versus Responsibility. And I use it in my class. And basically what he says is, it's not your fault that you had an alcoholic father. It's not a fault that somebody did this. It's not your fault that you had an alcoholic father. It's not your fault that somebody did something bad to you. Most of us basically here at this point in your life, if you're in a situation where you're not able to have a healthy relationship with somebody, it's probably not your fault. Okay. But what he says is it is your responsibility. Yeah. And so once you've identified the fact that something's not working and you identify the source, and to Ken's point, awareness is your best friend. And that's why, like I said, I'm going to share that little tip with you on how to find out exactly what the essence of the problem is. But, if you don't take radical responsibility and become radically honest and get into radical transparency, you'll never fix the problem. And I'm not saying you're broken. I'm just saying there's a problem that needs to be resolved. And so, again, it's not your fault, but it is your responsibility. And, I talk about that in my book because for me, I lived in denial for like 45 years. I'm saying? I've blown through millions of dollars. I ruined a relationship with my wife. I ruined a relationship with all my kids. I've made a lot of bad decisions. And I finally had to sit down and say, okay, you know what? There's a reason you're doing all this stuff. And let's take a look at why, and I finally figured it out and I got it squared away. But if you don't sit down and say, okay, how much of this is me? What if it is me? And not putting it on somebody else. Because when you put it on somebody else, it's just literally you're being a victim. Plain and simple. Nobody can make you feel the way you don't want to feel. Nobody can make you make decisions you don't want to make. I'm saying we are 100% responsible for that. And so once you take responsibility for that and decide you're going to go ahead and do what you have to do, do the work, as I say, right. Everything will change for you. And interesting, it's not a shocker that once you make the decision, even as you just start to shift a little bit, how much different the world looks to you. And, yes. There's a guy that I work that I've done some work with, a really nice guy. He's a life and business coach. His name is Gary D. Rodriguez. He says, life doesn't happen to us, life happens from us. Mm-hmm. Meaning we're getting back what we're giving out. So once you change and say, listen, I own me, I'm responsibility. The only person I can control is me. I can't control anyone else or anything else. And I'm going to go ahead and do what I need to make me feel better. Once you do that and you start shifting, everything starts to look different and people will start showing up that never would have shown up before, but it all starts with you, like you said earlier.
That's good. Hey, tell them about your book. I wrote, hey, look, yours truly wrote something in this book.
Yeah.
Tell the guys I'm super proud of you.
Yeah, thank you.
Your book, man. And
thank you.
It's been a long road. Tell the people about your book.
Yeah, so I have a book coming out Thursday. It's called Tragic Hero, Picking Up the Pieces. And like many of you, really had a messed up life and not saying many of you, but had challenges in my life that I hadn't dealt with. And as a result of that, a lot of bad things happened in my life. And so I kind of, for lack of a better word, I just kind of I chronicle all things that happened in my life and talk about the lessons that I learned. And then, basically, having gone through 45 years of terrible experiences and getting to the point where I wanted to put a gun in my mouth a few years ago, I finally realized that I had to do something. So, I decided to start doing some work on me. I hired somebody to help me. And, over the last 3 years, made a lot of changes, made a lot of improvements, fortunately to help a lot of people. But the whole book is about, giving you, hopefully proof and a push, if you will, to go ahead and take care of the things that you need to take care of, no matter how old you are. I'm 54 years old. I'm 54 years old, and I don't want anybody else to go. I don't want anybody else to go through what I went through. I'm saying? You don't have to hit rock bottom to have a good reason to make some changes in your life. You know what I'm saying? And sure, you can wake up every day and say, "What was me?" and "Oh my God, this sucks." But once you're ready to be radically responsible with who you are and be radically transparent, it's amazing, how things can change for you. So it's called Tragic Hero, Picking Up the Pieces. It'll be available on Amazon. And,
you have a copy there?
You know what? I gave them all away. I think, I mean, I signed some and gave them all away. I mean, I can bring up a picture if you want, but
no, that's cool. That's
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
I'll be more than happy to promote it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
No, that's good stuff, man.
Thank you.
I appreciate you saying that. And I appreciate you being transparent because life ain't been no bed of roses either on this side. But what I've learned is that when you change the way you look at things, you change what you see. And so what I've decided is that everything that has happened to me, I'm relationship coaching now as out of result of me and my wife almost going to the divorce court. So I've taken that incident, that time in my life, reframed the meaning of it, changed the meaning of it, and now I use that to help all of the people that I've helped. And it's amazing that when you change the meaning of things that happen to you, it's not that it happened to me, it's happened for me. And I also like what you just said, it's happened from me. I love it. I love it, dude. So I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Let me jump into number 4. Number 4, the reason why people keep attracting either the wrong person or the same person is this. This is straight from the doctor. All right. You fail to collect before you connect. You fail to collect before. And those of you who watch me for a while, you know that I created this thing called a 2C methodology. And the 2C methodology is in dating, we look at dating incorrectly. And I teach people you got to collect before you connect. Collect the data that's necessary to find out if this person lines up with your core value system. And so what happens is we get so enamored by people. We start feeling good. We start relying on our emotions. And they're like, ooh, they made my liver quiver. And then you introduce sex. And now you're smacking them on the ass. And everything's good. All the things. And all of a sudden, you have bypassed the collection phase, jump to the connection phase, and then you find out 6 months from now that this person is not who I thought they were.
That oxytocin is a dangerous chemical.
It is dangerous.
It is worse than meth and crack and anything else, man. It is a dangerous drug. You know what I'm saying? And for those of you who don't know what oxytocin is, it's basically the love juice inside you that makes you, that's how we fall in love with babies for the minute they come out of their mom, right? That juice gets flowing. Oh, I love you, right? It's also, but sometimes it gets the oxytocin hose gets stuck on on jet, and that's when all the stalkers come out, right? So then, but anyway, so somewhere in happy medium is caring about somebody. I was in a 4.5-year relationship with somebody, and I wanted to be in love in a relationship so badly that I let about 1 million red flags go by, because I so badly wanted to be in love. And when you rush and you don't become friends with somebody and get to know them and make sure that, like Ken said, your core values don't match, you miss a lot, and I missed a lot. It's interesting because I remember I went to somebody meet with somebody because I didn't know it back then, but even in my 20s, I was trying to figure out why I wasn't able to have a good relationship with somebody. I obviously had 20 plus years to figure it out at that point, but he explained it to me this way, and I thought it was really interesting. He drew like a concentric circles, like a bullseye. So he drew like a black dot in the middle. He drew another circle, another circle, another circle, and he says, "You're right here in the circle." And he says, in your life, there's maybe 1 or 2 people that are in this circle with you, maybe 3. And one of those people is, and one of those people is the person you love and marry. Okay. He says the next people out, he goes, that's your family members. Those are your close friends, people you've grown up with, people you connect with on a regular basis. He says the next one out, these are people you work with, people you see every day, maybe college friends, and things like that. And then he goes, the next circle out, these are the people you see kind of regularly, your dry cleaner, person at the gym, acquaintances, friends. And he says this outside circle here is all the new people you meet. And he says, think about how long it took the person in the center to get from the outside ring all the way to the inside, right?
Wow.
And he says people need to progress to every stage along that ring. If they go right from the outside ring to the bullseye, you miss so much stuff. And then that's when it wreaks all that havoc, because you've missed so much. You weren't paying attention. Like we have to let people gradually work through those rings. You know what I'm saying? And I think when you get to a situation like I'm in, and maybe other people here we're so desperate, not just we're so wanting to have a relationship, we want things to work out so badly. We want to be in love. We want to have those feelings that we feel like we've just got to rush everything. You know what I'm saying? Or we don't stop and see the signs. And the fact of the matter is, even if there's no red flags, you still have to get to know somebody. You know what I'm saying?
True.
They really have to get to know them, because this is somebody you're potentially going to spend the rest of your life with. And there's so many balls of yarn that need to be unraveled, because we don't stop and make sure that things are happening along the way. So, the 2 C's, obviously, collect as much as you can, and make sure that everything matches up with you. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to have every core value match, but Tony Robbins talks about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right?
Yes.
Right. So he talks about certainty, significance, variety, love and connection, growth, and then contribution. Right. So he says, at least 2 of your, hierarchy of needs should at least match the other person's hierarchy needs. At least one of them should, because if you don't have any matches,
if you don't have any matches, then you're
screwed.
Problem.
Yep.
And what happens when you don't have any matches? What happens? Then you rely on your emotions. Then you say, well, we have fun together. And when people say that to me, when they say we have fun together, and I say that's not the determination of how the relationship is going to go. I said, you want to know a good determination of how the relationship will go? And I said, show me how you guys work through conflict. Show me. Don't tell me how good you love it when everything's good. Tell me the process by which you work through conflict. Then I can tell you if the relationship will last. And so that's part of. So yeah, I don't want to hear all that, So I get that. That's good. Go ahead.
Can I just layer one more thing on that we talked about earlier? The better you feel about yourself, the stronger your confidence is, the stronger your self-worth is, the less you need approval from other people, the less you need acceptance from other people, the easier it is to ferret out the people that don't fit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When you're not feeling good about yourself and you're like, I just want it to work, you'll let anybody in. You know what I'm saying? But when you have high standards and you're not gonna, and you know what you want, you know what you're looking for, and you feel comfortable with who you are in your own skin, like, the people who aren't good aren't going to hang around. You know what I'm saying? They're just
vibrationally,
not going to hang around. Yeah, of course. Yeah. We talk about real quickly that we have attachment styles. We've got like an anxious attachment style, an avoidant attachment style, and a secure attachment style. You know what I'm saying? When you have a secure attachment style and you have no problem sharing your feelings with people you like, and you're comfortable that, hey, this is me and this is who I am and this is what you get, and you have no problem sharing that with other people. Anybody who doesn't fit that description of what you're looking for, doesn't treat you the way you want to be treated, doesn't connect with you the way you want to be treated, doesn't respect you, will not stay around long. And eventually you won't even bring those people into your life.
Well, they can't, that energy can't remain in your presence. Yeah.
Nope. Right. Yep.
Yeah. That's good. Anybody want to join us on the conversation? I forgot to tell you this. The link's in the bio. I'm going to post, let me see if I can post the link here. If you want to join, you got a question for me or for my man Waleed, listen, I need you to come on. I'm going to drop the link right here in the comment section, because I'd love for you to come on. As you can see, he's a super smart guy.
Thank you.
And we can answer your questions, and we'd be glad to. Number five reasons why you keep picking the same person simply is you either don't believe you deserve it, or you don't believe you can have it. On some level, you don't believe you deserve it, because it could be because of what you've done. I was coaching somebody recently, and they cheated. It was a female who cheated on a guy. And she told me, the reason I am not in a relationship is because this is karma. I've cheated on the guy that I was with. And I told her, as long as you have that limiting belief, you will never attract the person of your dream. The truth of the matter is, don't you think everybody in a great relationship has had, maybe they didn't do what you did, but don't you think they've made mistakes? They've fallen short. None of us are perfect. And so I had to help her reframe her thought process, because then she got to the point where she said, you know what? Why not me? Why not me? Well, now I'm happy to say she's in a great relationship on her way to marriage at 55. And so what I'm saying is, listen, everything boils down to a mind shift. Everything is a mind shift. If you're willing to go through the process, I love the fact that Wally said, you know what, I spent 3 years and I did the work on myself. Doesn't mean he's perfect. I mean, doesn't mean I'm perfect. It just means
Well, you kind of are.
Our journey.
You kind of are perfect. You kind of are perfect.
Yeah, whatever. My wife would be like,
yeah, no,
right,
no such thing as perfect. Yeah.
No such thing as perfect. And
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Wally. I was going to ask you what your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I apologize. You know, you had mentioned something, and then Kim York kind of said something, meaning, you know, the meaning that you give something is really the meaning that it is, right or wrong. You know what I'm saying? Right? Whatever we believe to be true is true for us. Right? So if I think that I'm not deserving or worthy, or if I'm, you know, getting some sort of like karmic response to a poor decision I made, then that's exactly what's happening, right? Henry Ford, right? If you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So, you know, the fact of the matter is if you're saying these things to yourself and you're programming your brain that I can't, I won't, I shouldn't, I don't deserve, then that's exactly what's going to happen. And again, if it's happening from you, that's what you're sending out. Nobody's going to show up to that party. So you really have to be careful with the meaning that you give things. And the good news is you can switch the meaning that you give something like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, think about, you ever been friends with somebody and then they did something stupid and then they were a jerk about it? You went from being friends to not being friends over a period of a matter of minutes. I mean, you were angry, you were hurt and stuff like that, but you end up not having a relationship with them. You can change literally the meaning to something like that if you choose to. And I encourage you, I challenge you to find an affirmation that you can repeat every morning that is pretty much the opposite of what you believe to be true. Meaning, if you think that karma is getting you back from making a bad choice, you know, say then, you know, an affirmation of something, you know, I'm worthy and deserving of a loving mate, you know what I'm saying, or something to that effect. You know, go ahead and say to yourself the reverse of it. And people are like, well, affirmations don't work. And I say they do. And here's why. Because however old you are right now, you've been saying the same thing to yourself for the entirety of that period of life, and you believe it now. So if it worked to get you here, it's certainly going to work to get you out of there, right? So I'm encouraging people to take a hard look at the meaning they give their current relationship situation, and if it's disempowering or not, you know, beneficial, let's find one that is. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I'm completely worthy of being loved by another man or another woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, just say something that you can tell your brain, because eventually if you say it enough times, your brain is going to believe it. It's going to, like we talked about earlier, it's going to shift how you see, what you send out, how you feel, what you're looking for, and it'll change everything for you.
I'm gonna deviate here because I want to say something.
Yeah.
I just got an inbox. I won't say any names. It says problem. The men that are out here are limited. How can you practice these techniques if you don't have quality men to choose from? Also, the men that are often available, they have multiples. All right. So you can be competing with multiple women. The pool of quality men is very small. Okay. Last, if you don't look like one of the Kardashians, the pool is even smaller. These men, they have the option of choosing who they want, and how they want them to look. I've heard them say that. I've heard them say that recently. The reason I read that, okay, I needed to read this. Listen to me carefully.
Man.
I gotta say this. First of all, the person that wrote that is coming from a genuine place. They believe it. But that is a limiting belief. My last point is going to address that very thing. So I'm going to go ahead and say it. Is the reason you keep attracting the wrong person is your energy, your thoughts have created an energy that attracts the wrong people. Okay. Now, I don't want to go too deep, but I want to say the law of attraction and manifestation works, whether you believe it or not. People say, well, I've heard of that, Ken, and it doesn't work for me. I said, and I don't understand it. And I often say to them, I said, you may not understand gravity, but if you jump off a damn 10-story building, you're dead. Okay. You don't know how gravity works, but you know that gravity is going to take you to the ground really fast and you're going to be really dead. Okay. And so what I was telling somebody recently that I started 19 months ago, I have a manifestation journal, and I am teaching a class on it now of you can bring about what you think about. But here's the way it works, though. I learned a few years ago when The Secret came out, Wally, that when The Secret came out, I was all into The Secret, but it wasn't working. It wasn't clicking. It wasn't working for me because I realized something. The Secret was missing something significant. Significant. The Secret said, all right, you make your intention known. Believe you're going to get it, and you get it, and you receive it. Okay? All right, cool. That the Bible, a lot of that says a lot of similar things. A lot of religions say similar things. One mistake, one thing was missing, that the work part of it. Do the work part. The work with the faith without works is dead. The work, I will bless the works of your hands. That part was missing. And so what I tell people is where your attention goes, energy flows. Whenever you think about something, if you think about this is out of law of attraction. This is the hardest part that I had to get in my head. When people say, I don't want somebody that cheats. I don't want somebody that cheats. I don't want somebody that cheats.
Guess who's showing up? Guess who's showing up?
What happens? You get somebody that cheats because you put your energy, your thoughts, your energy focused on that which I don't want. Because now what happens is instead of you saying, I want a man who's going to love me, who's going to love my dirty bath water, who's going to respect me, instead of you focusing on the energy of that positive thought, and then you begin attracting that, what you do is you focus on what you don't want. And then what happens? The universe brings you more of what you don't want because of that energy. And so what I tell people is this. One of the reasons you keep attracting the wrong person is here's what you say. I don't attract anything but married men. I don't attract anything, but I keep attracting bums. I keep attracting F-boys. I keep attracting this and that. And what are you doing? You're putting your energy into that emotion, your energy into that thought. And then thoughts become things. Next thing you know, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And I see people doing it all the time. So it's about shifting the way you think. What say you, Wally?
No, I think you covered it in detail. I'm just going to add one thing to that because that was fantastic. There's an audio online. If you go to YouTube and put in the Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale, The Strangest Secret. It was recorded in 1964, and other than some basic terminology, because it was created 60 years ago, almost 70 years ago. It's like he wrote it yesterday, and all it talks about is how the subconscious mind works and how what you think about multiplies. And he's got a really, really great definition of success. He says success is the continuous progression towards a worthy ideal. What it means as long as you don't quit, you're not failing. But I would recommend that. It's 30 minutes long, and then he's got a 30-day a challenge, for you to focus on the things you want, and Kim York mentioned something, and thanks for the kind words. It is hard to let go of a habit. It really is. And the way to let go of the habit is to use the same strategy you used to create the habit. Right? It's just right. Am I wrong?
It's so true.
The ultimate, right? Like whatever you got you there. So it's a matter of repetition and commitment to doing whatever it is, that you want to change the habit. And so thank you, Rose. Yeah, it is really. So The Strangest Secret, Earl Nightingale, listen to it. Really, really good stuff. And, what if you don't want to give up on someone? Oh my God, we could do a whole call on that one.
Yeah, we could.
Oh my God, we could. I guess the thing is I would have to know more, which we don't know. But in general, if you know that person is the right person and they're putting in the effort, then you don't give up on them. But if they're not the right person and they're not putting in the effort, there's really no reason to keep them around. So it's called The Strangest Secret, Pamela. Don't be sorry, Kim. I mean, I'm sure Ken will have, we'll happy to talk to you offline. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk to you offline, but certainly. Yeah, if anybody wants,
tell them how they can get in touch with you.
Yeah, if you want to chew the fat on anything, my phone number is 214-334-1356, 214-334-1356. And if you want to get 15 minutes on my calendar to chat, you just go to my website, phonesalessecrets.com, and you can set up 15 minutes on my calendar, phonesalessecrets.com or 214-334-1356. But, the fact of the matter is you know, whatever you've been doing up until this point in your life, you know, you've created a strategy for your brain to operate on. And, you know, all you have to do is use the same strategy, use the same techniques, the same thought process, basically using your body the way you've been using your mind, the way you've been using it, but just focusing on the stuff you want rather than what you don't want. But what you just said was delivered elegantly and eloquently for sure.
Give us the technique that you promised us at the beginning.
Okay.
Give us. I didn't forget.
No, it's okay. It's okay. So listen, awareness is your best friend. Okay. As painful as it is, awareness is your best friend. Okay. We cannot defeat an enemy. We cannot fight an enemy that we can't see, that we don't know exists. Okay. Now, your subconscious mind remembers everything you've ever tasted, touched, smelled, heard, or seen. Doesn't matter how long ago it was. You know, problem is it stacks it like this, and the stuff it really hates, it holds down, or you hold down until it's ready to come up. So you can actually talk to your subconscious mind. And so if you really want to find out what it is that's keeping you from, you know, why am I a procrastinator? Why am I a perfectionist? Why do I keep picking the same guy? You know, why do I lack self-worth? Whatever it is, just get a 5x7 index card, actually get 2 of them, and write the question, you know, why is it that I keep choosing the wrong person for a mate? Put it on both cards, keep one on you, keep one on your desk, put one next to your bed. I would say by this time tomorrow, you'll know the answer if you're willing to be honest with yourself. Wow. Okay. And whatever it is going to, you know, it's going to have happened between the ages of being born about 12 or 13. And again, it doesn't have to be, you know, you don't have to have been raped, God forbid, sexually abused, physically abused, emotionally abused. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I have situations where I work with people, or, you know, they're a stepsister or a stepbrother to another family, and the father or mother pays a lot more attention to their own kid and doesn't pay attention to them as much. And it's just something as simple as that. Or, you know, I worked with a guy who was afraid to pick up the phone. He was like 62 years old, and his brother and his father called him weak sauce when he was a kid. And he took that personally, gave that meaning to it. So please, like, so many people compare, like, oh, mine wasn't as bad as you. It doesn't matter how bad it was or whatever it is. If it is and it was, then it is. And it was and it happened.
If it is, then it was, then it is.
Whatever. I'm just saying, if it is and it was, listen, I'm just, you know what, man? I'm just saying, if it is and it was and it was and it is, doesn't matter. If it is, it is. And that's all that you need to know, is that it happened and that it impacted you in such a way that it doesn't work, that it's not working the way you want to. Get those index cards and pull it out, and you're going to get an answer. But once you know the answer, I guess it's empowering to do something about it. Well, that's where I come in, Kim. And if you want to make heads or tails, go to my site and set up, and we'll talk about it. You know, there's a process. But there's a process. There's a process, Kim, and everybody else.
And that's the part we don't want to. There's a process. That's the part we don't want to minimize. And a lot of people, my wife often says, people want change, but they don't want to make change. And so all I can say is it is a process. And dude, you have been most delightful as usual.
Likewise, thank you.
I appreciate you, man.
I hope I added some value here for everybody.
Oh man, I knew you would, and I appreciate you. And listen, one day when I'm on, bring the book, and you know, I'll let you come backstage and show the book.
Thank you. Did we get through all 7?
We'll definitely do it. Okay.
Did we get through all 7 of your points?
Yeah, we got through 6 of them, and it was actually 6. I just wrote.
Okay.
Don't worry. There was 6 of them. But listen, dude, I appreciate you, man.
I love you, man. I love you. I appreciate
everybody who's listening. I appreciate you for rocking with me, because you could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me tonight. And my friend, this is my friend, my brother from another mother, Big Wally Bressler. And we thank you both, y'all.
Thank you, everybody.
Guys have a great evening. Remember this: every journey starts with one step. Take yours today. Anything you want to leave them with, Wally?
Nothing much, man. You know, I love you, appreciate you. 16 years now, pretty crazy. If for nothing else, I'm living proof that it doesn't matter how deep down the hole you've gone, even if you've made it to rock bottom, if you really, truly want to change your life and create the life you want for yourself, you can do that. It's never too late.
My guy. All right, y'all, we're out.